All right, welcome to Scratch, Week 1, Session 2. Hi, everyone. I'm Mr. Smith. I'll be your host today. Thank you very much. Now is a good time to get a snack. Actually, you should have already eaten, or, maybe get a snack after you pause, because I'm going to keep rolling on here, because it's a recording. And on the menu today, we'll do a video warm up, except one of the videos doesn't seem to want to work. So we're just going to do one video warm up. We'll take a look at the plexers. History of computers, we'll talk about the Babbage machine. And in Scratch, we got to skip the share time because it's a recording. But we're going to learn about backgrounds, new sprites, and the glide. And of course, there's something called extra stuff. The title being Hide and Show. And then finally, we'll end it with a Kahoot, which you cannot play, but you can watch and try to guess the answers for fun. So let's get going. All right, this is the video I wanted to show you, and it's a very important video because this is the owl dance, everybody. I usually start my sessions off with the owl dance, even though we can't hear it. Let's hear it now. There we go. Yeah, you see, the owl dance, we like to just come in, and while we're waiting, we just like to dance like the owl. That's right. Not easy to do, but it's good for the neck. I don't think you got to do any of the scratching part, even though this class is called Scratch. Very funny, Mr. Smith. This is the second video we were going to watch, but it's about a kid who doesn't know what a payphone is. It's pretty interesting, but I can't get it to come up. All right, this is Plexers, so just pause and try to get it if you like. I'll put it up here. And let's see, I'll go ahead and pause, see if you can get it. Welcome back, everybody. You see the word million probably. You see the word one inside of a million. So basically the answer is 1 in a million. 1 in a million. Sometimes your parents call you that. 1 in a million. Take a look at this one. It's the word economy, but what is it doing? Welcome back. Economy is growing, so it's a growing economy. More of a parent kind of a thing there. Okay, this one is tricky, but it's a lot of fun. I'll give you a second to think about it. Go ahead and pause. Okay, welcome back. So if you think about it, let's take the stand and the I. So stand is over I, or I is understand. Well, which one makes the most sense? I understand. So let's follow that pattern. I understand. You undertake. To undermine. My undertaking. That's it. So put it all together. It's I understand that you undertake. To undermine my undertaking, which is a fancy way of saying, hey, why are you trying to spoil the party? You know what that is. All right, let's move on to history of computers. So the last we left off was a couple thousand years ago with the abacus, the Roman counting table, and the Egyptian astrolabe. Well, not much happened with computing since then. That's how they computed for thousands of years. So along comes a guy by the name of Charles Babbage. And I'm going to go full screen here so it's a little easier to see. It's called the difference engine. So the year is 1786. It's after the Revolutionary War. So that's almost 1,786 years later after those three inventions we mentioned earlier. There was this soldier in the German army who was really into math apparently, and he wrote this book. He had this idea for a machine that would do complex calculations, and he called it the difference engine. He wrote the book about it. That's what his Hessian soldier looks like. But nothing really happened because it was way ahead of its time. There just wasn't stuff to invent it. So along comes this guy, and his name is Charles Babbage. He's kind of the father of the computer, if you think about it. The Hessian couldn't make his idea work, but Charles could. And he made this machine, and it kind of looks like this. And that was in 1859. But really, we can take a look at it actually because we have a video of it here on YouTube. And this difference engine still exists today in museums. I think there's a few of them. And you can go see it, and it still works. So what they're doing in this video is they're kind of showing you how it works. And we'll take a look really close up here. It's just a bunch of gears with different numbers on them, different digits, 0 through 9, but they're arranged in different orders, and you can manipulate those to kind of get what you want. So instead of taking hours or days or weeks to do calculations, it could do those calculations in a short period of time. Obviously, nothing like we have today, but for 1859, it was pretty advanced. And now the guy here is going to show you how it works. I'm just going to jump ahead because we can't hear what he's saying, but you got to crank it to get it to work. So it's pretty old-fashioned, and it kicks out a piece of paper with all of your calculations on it. Kind of cool. The Babbage difference engine. That's it right there. Now, the road ahead. Well, it's around 1900 and things are computing are starting to heat up. Why? Well, we have the airplane being invented. We've got the car that was just invented. Everybody's using this thing called electricity and plumbing. And science is really starting to heat up. But the big thing ahead are the wars, World War I and World War II. And we know with wars that big things happen. Look ahead to the mount on the top of the mountain. There you're going to see the biggest and the bestest year ever in computing history. It's called 1976. That's kind of where we're headed down our road, and that's kind of our theme here. So let me go ahead and get a little smaller, and we'll go ahead. On to Scratch. In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you guys how to make backgrounds, characters, and glides. So let me go ahead and make that a little larger. Excuse me. Here's our Scratch Cat. And I've got a tool here that actually makes him smaller. By using the tool, I can make them also larger. So remember that those tools are up there for your use. I can use this stamp and I can actually create or copy him down below, but you see him down below here. We don't really want either one of those, so I'm going to cut him out using the pair of scissors. Voila. All that's left is your stage. The stage is highlighted, but we want a sprite. So I'm going to click on that icon that I just showed you. And this is the sprite library. And you can choose from animals and fantasy and letters, people, things, transportation. I like the letters. Those are cool letters. You could create your title out of those letters. But we're going to go to fantasy, and I'm going to grab Gobbo, because Gobbo is my favorite. And today we're going to make Gobbo move. But there's something I want you to check out here. Let's take the green arrow, or I'm sorry, the green flag. And we're going to grab something in motions called go to X and Y. Well, let's talk about what X and Y is. You see, on the screen here, you'll notice that when I move my arrow, the numbers in the bottom right-hand corner of that screen seem to move with the arrow. That's because there's an imaginary bunch of lines up and down, an imaginary bunch of lines going back and forth. And each one is assigned a number. And that kind of helps us decide where things go. If you put the arrow right in the very center, you can make it go to 0, 0. But it's very hard to do. I got pretty close there with 1, negative 1. Anyway, Gabo is over at negative 187.5. Negative meaning everything to the left is a negative number, and everything to the right is a positive number. If that's too much for you to understand, let me know. I'll help you out. Not really necessary that you have a really big grasp of that. Anyway, whenever I click the green flag, wherever I move Gabo, he always goes back to negative 187.5 because that's what I told him to do. Go to x, negative 187, y 5. Now I'm going to bring out a new one called glide. Glide for 1 second to x 249, negative 19. That's what we're telling Gabo to do. So let's see what we do here. So he goes back and he glides. Not a bad glide. He glided for 1 second, and it was pretty fast, to 249, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to change it to 187, just to keep everything the same. Negative 187 to 187, positive. And I'm going to keep the 5s the same, because I want him in the same up and down. And we're going to change the seconds to 5. There. Now he's gliding nicely. A nice, smooth glide. You could change it to 50 if you want, and it would be pretty slow if you think about it. Oh, there's one thing I want to point out. Notice how the whole thing glows. When I press the green flag or the stop sign, it turns off. But when I press the green flag, it glows again. That means it's that group of blocks that is operating when I press go. Okay, let's take out a forever loop. Let's put the whole thing in a forever loop. Now I wonder what'll happen, because it should just go forever, right? And it does. He actually just keeps going forever, but it looks like he's walking through the screen to the other side, almost as if it's a continuous walk. Now we're going to talk about stages. You can select different stages as well, or backdrops, because I'm tired of the white backdrop. You can even go to the moon if you want. I always like to select outdoors and the brick background. Notice I'm pointing to where you can get your stages right there at the bottom left-hand corner. Now, because we're on stages, there's no script for it right now. So don't confuse it and say, where did that script go? You have to click on Gabo and make him blue. And here we go. Notice he's moving pretty good there, except he's up a little high. He doesn't look like he's walking on the sidewalk. So I'm actually going to tell him to go a little lower. Should I change the negative 187? No, because that's where he is on the x-axis, or the up and down. I'm going to change the horizontal one, the top and bottom, to negative 50. Notice what I didn't do there. See how he's gliding up? I didn't change the y to negative 50 on the glide command, which I'm going to do now. And that keeps him going straight. There. Now my Gabo looks like he's walking on the sidewalk. Way to go, Gabo. And that's really your assignment for this week. Change the background, change your sprite, get him to glide. Get him to glide nicely. I'll send that script out so you can use it if you need to, or if you forget. Let's go on. I got some extra stuff to show you here. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little larger. It's a little blurry right now, but it'll clear up. Okay. In looks, there's something called show and hide. These are great to work with. Let's get a green flag. And I'm going to get some time in between them too, if you don't mind. So I like this one called wait 1 second, because you can always change it. What that means is when the green flag is clicked, he's going to show up or appear. He's going to wait, what am I doing, 3 seconds, and then he's going to hide. Watch. 1, 2, 3. He hides. Now he's still going. He's still gliding. You can see that that script is glowing. So we know he's still moving, but he's just hidden. So we have to tell him to show again. So go back and grab a show. Hit the stop sign. 1, 2, 3. He's hiding. 1, 2, 3. He's showing. Well, it's ended, so he'll continue to show until we tell him otherwise. But he's still gliding forever until we hit the stop sign. But if I put it in a forever loop, he will hide and show pretty much forever or until we hit the stop sign. And there we go. And that's Gabo, hiding and showing. So a little extra stuff for you guys. It's a lot of fun. Let's see if you can do it. All right. Here's your homework. Go to Scratch and log in successfully. Make a new sprite. It doesn't have to be Gabo, but you can make whatever you want. Make your sprite glide. Change the background. Make your sprite hide and show. And then save your project. And now it's time for Kahoot, everybody. And you cannot play Kahoot because, of course, you are not live right now, but I am, and I can. I'm going to have to play, actually. I'm going to have to play myself. So let's go ahead and put in the code, which is 62003, and I'm going to enter. And I'm going to be the name Smith. Really original there, isn't it? Here we go with the game. 6 questions. The idea of a computing machine came from a Hessian or German soldier during the Revolutionary War. Well, it's kind of true. I'm going to go ahead and press true. That should be right after or during the Revolutionary War. Yeah, I guess it's correct. I'll go ahead and leave it. Smith's in the lead. What did the Hessian soldier do next? He took a nap, cleaned his rifle. He wrote a book about the machine. He met a guy named George Washington. Well, he might have done all those things, but I know he wrote a book about the machine. All right, I am winning. The man who read the book and made the machine was Alexander Hamilton, John Adams, SpongeBob, or a guy by the name of Charles Babbage. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pick SpongeBob. No, I'm just kidding. It's Charles Babbage. After all, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose points. The Babbage machine can. What can the machine do? It can calculate large amounts of data. It can make ice cream. It can print data for bomb trajectories, or it can run a marathon. Well, I know blue and green are probably going to be wrong, so I'll go with the red. Ice cream would be nice, though. The Babbage machine still exists today in a warehouse, a museum, a corner store, at the Babbage Corporation headquarters, which doesn't really exist. I'm going to say museum. I am right. The most important date in this class is 1776, 1876, 1976, or 2006. I'm going to go with 1976, just because I was alive then. And I'm right. That's the biggest date. Hey, Mr. Smith wins. Awesome. Well, that's your Kahoot, and that is your Scratch. So I'll send your homework out, and until next time, I'll see you later at the Scratch project. I'm Mr. Smith, signing off.